candidacy. Every once in a while, and it is an extremely rare occasion, exceptional individuals offer themselves for public service. Not for pecuniary gain or for perceptions of power or influence, because of the fact that they actually want to give back to the community. I was talking to Richard's mom earlier this evening, Betty, and she mentioned to me that when Richard first went to law school and got out of law school, he said to her, "Mom, what I really want to do, more than anything else, is serve the public by being a juvenile court judge." And through his work with the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office, where he had nearly a 90% conviction rate, to his, absolutely, no doubt, that deserves it. To his working with youth, he knows both sides of the equation. And I suggest to you that of all the candidates who can conceivably serve you as a juvenile court judge here in Orleans Parish, you couldn't possibly select a better candidate than Richard Exnicios. Please join me in welcoming the next Orleans Parish Juvenile Court Judge, Richard Exnicios.
Thank you very much, Val. Val is an outstanding lawyer. The lawyers in the room know Val already. Val is one of the leaders in the Bar Association. It's always hard to follow Val because he's always got a better credential than I do. So it's always tough following Val. But thank you. First off, everybody here right now is friends and family. This is kind of our fun kickoff. My trial run at giving a speech in front of everybody. And when you came in, there was a gentleman who name, I had to hire somebody with my campaign whose name was harder to say than my own. Vincenzo Pasquantanio.
Oh, wow. Here, here.
Yeah. I promised him I'd give him a heart attack by not reading a speech in my pocket at all. But what Val said is humbling, but it's true. Juvenile court is where I've always wanted to be. And it's kind of gotten even more so, because one of the little kids you've been seeing running around getting in trouble the whole time is my son Rex, who's 4.5 years old. He's not going to come up, he's being bashful. But we all had a catastrophic event 4.5 years ago. Hurricane Katrina annihilated. The Deutsches Haus here had water, was devastated. My house, like a lot of y'all's houses, was damaged as well. We had water, we lost our roof. We had to make a decision then. Are we going to come back, or are we not going to come back? We decided we're going to come back. If we come back, we got to come back, and we got to work to make the city better than it was before Katrina and move it forward. And then, also as a father of a small child, I want to keep the city safe. Right now, we have a huge crime problem. We have a crime problem in the criminals are getting younger and younger. And the odd thing with juvenile court is you can't just say we're going to throw them away. Because you put a juvenile in jail for juvenile life, they get out when they're 21, and then they're a real criminal. The court has to be active. The court has to get in and prevent crime by intervening early, as soon as a child's having some problems. Prevention through intervention. Vinny came up with that. It's kind of a little tag. But the idea is the juvenile court has the authority to come in as soon as a child is missing school, truant, missing curfew, graffiti, the minor offenses. The court can come in at that point and intervene and prevent a child who's mischievous from becoming a criminal. And right now, the juvenile system has got so many challenges. The system is pretty much broken. They're out of money, they're out of time, they're out of energy, and it needs to get fixed. I want to fix it. I can fix it. Anybody that knows me knows I've always had 2, 3, 4 jobs at a time, so I'm not afraid of hard work. It's going to take hard work. And the other thing is that our court system, and juvenile court especially, cannot be a political position. You've got to be a judge who's got the experience. As Val mentioned, I did have a phenomenal record as a district attorney under Harry Connick. Mr. Connick taught us, well, if you didn't prosecute successfully, you were fired. Great motivator. And he fired you on the spot, pretty much. But I was down there as a prosecutor. I was down there as an appointed defender by C. Hearn Taylor and by Sal Muley and Judge Lagarde and some of the other ones. So I've been in juvenile court. But I've also been working with kids my entire life. In the room, some of you know and don't know, there's some fencers in here. Well, some of these fencers started when they were Rex's age. Well, I have kids who I've taught who are now, I taught them when they were in 2nd grade. They're now doctors, lawyers, architects looking for jobs. But, so I've done, that's Andy's stuff, great architect. But, so I've done both sides, and that's the experience we need to put into court. Juvenile court can be the first spot to intervene, and we can take a juvenile delinquent, and before they become a criminal, and make them into something, give them something to do. When you're in school, and you're active, and you're doing after-school activities, you're in sports, you're in band, track and field, any of that stuff, those kids don't get in trouble. The court can help combine all the things we have in the city and the things we need in the city that we don't have right now, and so that the kids have something to do, they don't get in trouble. There's people banging down the doors to come volunteer in the city of New Orleans. There's money available for the city of New Orleans, but you've got to go out and ask for it. We need a grant writer, a full-time grant writer for the juvenile court. Hell, we need one for the city council. But there's money out there, we're not getting it. And you know, I've missed all of Vinny's points, but the idea is we can, he'll yell at me, but the idea is we can make a huge difference. If we want to stop the crime problem in New Orleans, we got to stop the criminals from becoming criminals when they're little kids. When a child is born, it's an amazing thing. My wife went through labor for like 4 days and had a 10-pound, 6-ounce child. But when a child comes into the world, they're all the same for the most part. They're like a piece of clay. And that child becomes a teenager and adult by who their influences are. Their parents, their schools, their mentors, and by their city. We grew up in a wonderful city. We all played music and good food, but we're losing the kids right now because we're letting them turn into criminals because everybody's kind of forgetting about it. And don't misunderstand this. I'm not saying being soft on crime. You know, if you knew me as a prosecutor, I was a hard prosecutor. If they've become a criminal already, I'll be a hard judge. We need to try to be hard on crime, but at the same time, try to stop it from becoming that bad. When the child steps out, get them in the courtroom. Right now, if you miss court, you say, Lenore, you missed school. You have to come to court in about 3 or 4 months at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday with your parents, maybe, to say why you weren't in school. Well, one, it's too late, and I'm making you miss school to find out why you missed school. It just doesn't make any sense. When I was in juvenile court and courts I've looked at other jurisdictions, you can have court after school. She misses school today, Friday, she's in court. My court with her parents, and I can say, Lenore, why'd you miss school? And then I can say, Mrs. Costa, why did Lenore miss school? Well, Mrs. Costa, if Lenore misses school tomorrow, if you can't get her to go to school, call me. If you don't call me and she doesn't go to school, I'm going to call you. It's amazing the motivation a judge can give someone when they think that the judge is going to put them in some type of public service or correctional facility because they're not getting their child to school. There's so many problems in the juvenile court. We need to put somebody there who can jump in with both feet. I will take a piece of my staff, or most of my staff, with me and tear into it. And what I need from y'all, I need your help. I'm running against 2 politicians. They've run before, they've run before, they've run before, they've taken their signs and they've pulled off municipal court and put up juvenile court, and they've taken off traffic court and put up municipal court and juvenile court, and they keep running. And eventually they'll stick. But I'm not running to run again and again. I don't want to be a different judge. I want to be this judge. I want to be a juvenile court judge. I've always wanted to be a juvenile court judge. What I need to know how you can help me. I need to know when any group meets. I need to know. I want to go talk to every single person I can find in this city who has a voice and a vote. And a vote is going to be hard because guess when the election is? February 6th. There's a few other things going on that day. Mayor's race, which has now gotten kind of interesting. And then city council race. And then 3 parades, Pontchartrain, Pegasus, and Sparta. Wait, no Pegasus. My Mardi Gras brother told me no Pegasus anymore. But Pontchartrain and Sparta. And then the next day, the Saints are in the Super Bowl. It's going to be a bit distracting. So we're going to need to get people to remember to vote early, but to get out there. So that's the messages we need. We need the messages to go. We need people to know I'm running, to know I'm the real thing. We want to be hard on crime, but we want to stop it from becoming an issue. We want a child to become a child, and then become a young, responsible child, and then a teenager, and then a productive citizen in New Orleans. My family's been here for 200 years. I want my family to stay here for 200 years. I don't want my children or my children's children to think they have to leave the city of New Orleans because it's gotten so bad. And y'all are all here because you live here too, and you came back from Katrina for the same reason.
So there's